The colony ship Asterion drifted silently above the scarred plains of Luton 6b. Where lush forests and gleaming oceans had once stretched, now lay a wasteland of ash and broken cities. It had been only 3 weeks since the Threx fleet struck, and in that time 3 human colonies had been reduced to rubble. Survivors whispered that this wasn't war, it was extermination. Commander Celine Rios stood at the observation deck, fists tight against the glass. Below, rescue teams searched for the last survivors, though Celine knew the odds. The Threx didn't leave witnesses if they could help it. Behind her, Lieutenant Corrin's voice was grim. Another transmission, Commander. The Threx say Luton is just the beginning. They want us out of the Perseus arm entirely. Celine turned sharply. They're not asking. They're warning. Corrin nodded, his pale eyes flickering with restrained anger. The colonies are panicking. Earth's council debates but sends nothing but words. By the time reinforcements arrive, if they arrive, more worlds will burn. Celine knew he was right. Humanity had fought many wars in the past century, but the Threx were different. They weren't after territory or resources. They struck with surgical cruelty, their bioweapons tearing through atmosphere and soil alike, leaving dead planets in their wake. But then, in the hush of the room, a third voice emerged from the shadows. Deep, resonant, not quite human. They have struck the children of flame. They have made war upon the colonies. Then they have made war upon us. Celine didn't need to turn to know who it was. Few humans had ever spoken face to face with them, and fewer still could call them allies. She turned slowly, bowing her head. Standing before her, clad in living armor of scales that shimmered in iridescent hues, was Varian, ambassador of the Draconid Concord, a being whose kind humanity called, without hesitation, dragons. Celine swallowed. You heard the transmission. Varian's eyes glowed like twin suns. We hear more than transmissions, Commander. We hear the cries of your dead, echoing through the void. And we do not suffer such things lightly. The Pact of Flame. Long before humanity colonized the stars, legends of dragons filled its myths. No one expected to find them, living, breathing, spacefaring titans, when humanity finally reached the Perseus arm. The Draconids were ancient beyond reckoning, masters of both biology and plasma-forged technology. They resembled the winged beasts of Earth's folklore, but each was larger than a battleship, capable of crossing light years unaided, wrapped in scales that deflected kinetic rounds and breathed fire hotter than a fusion core. And yet, despite their power, they were not conquerors. They were guardians. For millennia, they had protected the worlds of their choosing, binding themselves to a sacred code called the Pact of Flame, to defend those who built and dreamed, not those who destroyed. When humanity met them 50 years earlier, many feared annihilation. Instead, the Draconids extended a wary alliance. They watched from the edges, intervened in moments of great peril, and tested humanity's worthiness. And now, with the Threx annihilating colonies, the dragons had spoken, rallying the fires. The Council of Captains convened aboard Asterion. Holomaps showed 3 destroyed colonies and a 4th under imminent threat. The Threx armada numbered in the hundreds, bioengineered warships pulsing with organic armor. Humanity had only scattered fleets nearby. But the Draconids. When Varian spread his wings in the war chamber, sparks rippling along the membranes, every officer fell silent. The Threx have always been carrion feeders, Varian thundered. They prey on the weak, the unprepared. But they have made a mistake. They have struck those under our wing. They have struck you. By the pact, we stand with you. A ripple of relief and awe swept through the humans. Selene, however, remained cautious. "We're grateful, Ambassador. But you know as well as I do, war against the Threx is costly. They breed fleets like locusts. Even with your kind, the battle won't be easy." Varian lowered his head until his golden eyes met hers. "Easy? Well, but justice never is. Still, better to scorch the stars than let carrion devour them." The strategy was forged. A combined strike, human ships forming spearheads while Draconid warflights tore through the Threx armada. For the first time in centuries, dragons and humans would fight side by side. The Battle of Keled Prime. Keled Prime, once a thriving mining colony, was the Threx's next target. By the time Selene's fleet arrived, enemy ships already darkened its skies. The Threx warships were grotesque things, organic vessels shaped like mantises, their carapaces bristling with plasma stingers. Selene's voice rang over comms. "All units, hold formation. Dragons inbound. Do not engage until the firewings arrive." Then, from the abyss they came. Dozens of Draconids surged into real space in a blaze of light, their bodies glowing as they folded from higher dimensions. They moved like living constellations, scales catching starlight. And then, with a roar that resonated even through vacuum, they exhaled. Rivers of plasma fire lanced across the void, cutting swathes through the Threx fleet. Where human weapons pitted armor, dragon fire melted it to slag. Some Draconids launched spines that split into swarms of micro-dragons, tearing apart enemy fighters. Others rammed straight into battleships, tearing through hulls with claws of living energy. Selene's fleet followed in their wake, striking at exposed Threx flanks. The battlefield became a dance of steel and flame. On the bridge of her cruiser, Selene gave the order. "Forward batteries. Target the hive ship." The hive ship loomed like a monstrous queen, birthing swarms of drones. Human salvos slammed into its chitinous surface, while Varian himself dove upon it, his wings blazing like solar flares. He ripped into the hive ship with teeth and fire, searing through its heart until it erupted in a cascade of organic shrapnel. The Threx fleet, sensing the loss of their anchor, faltered. One by one they were hunted down, scattered, broken. Keled Prime was saved. Humanity cheered. But Selene knew it was only a beginning. Shadows of the war. Victory bred hope, but hope was fragile. Across the Perseus arm, the Threx regrouped. Rumors spread that they were calling upon deeper horrors, elders bred in void wombs, war forms that even dragons hesitated to face. In war councils, human admirals argued for caution. Some feared leaning too heavily on the dragon's aid, worried that dependence would one day cost humanity its sovereignty. Others saw the alliance as destiny, humans and dragons united, an unstoppable bulwark. Selene found herself torn. She had fought with Varian, trusted him. Yet she couldn't shake the question, why now? Why intervene with such fury when the pact had kept them distant for decades? One night, aboard her quarters, Varian answered. "The Threx and we share a history," he admitted, coiling his vast body in the docking bay. "Eons ago they were lesser things. We spared them. We believed even carrion might learn. But they grew monstrous, corrupt. Their bioweapons are twisted echoes of our own gifts. Every time they strike, it is a shadow of our failure. When they struck your colonies, they awoke a vow older than your species.